Hi, my name is Liz. I'm a specialist midwife for diabetes working for Barkin, Havering and Redbridge NHS Trust, and I work for King George and Queen's Maternity Unit. You may have recently been diagnosed with gestational diabetes, and we are asking you to monitor your own blood sugars at home using a home blood sugar monitoring device. So you would have come to the hospital to pick up a meter called Contour Next, and I'm now going to give you a demonstration on how to use it. So the actual device contains some strips, it contains a blood glucose meter, it contains a pen, you've got some needles or lancets, and you've also got a quality control solution. So when you come and pick up the meter, we would have given you a GP letter to drop into your GP to request a prescription for the strips and the needles. So please try and get that dropped into your GP as soon as possible, and they normally expect you to give them 48 hours to get your prescription. In the pack itself, the container contains 25 strips. When you receive your prescription from your GP, they will give you one container with 50 strips, and it only lasts you 2 weeks. So you do need to try and remember to reorder your prescription every 2 weeks before you run out. Another important point to note is the name of your machine is called Contour Next. There is another meter on the market called Contour, and sometimes the GP accidentally does prescribe the wrong one. So please take note that you do get the correct prescription for Contour Next. Every time you receive a new batch of strips, the first thing we need to do is check that the machine and the strips are working accurately together. So with the first strip, we are going to do a quality control test. So we remove one of the strips from the container. The grey end of the strip, you insert it into the meter, and that will turn your meter on. The quality control solution, you must make sure you shake it. You squeeze a droplet of the solution onto the cap, and then you dip the end of the strip into the solution and it sucks it up like a straw. You will now receive a result on the screen, and you must check that that result falls in between the reference range on the side of your container. There is 3 reference range, but you always refer to the top one. If this result falls in between that reference range, that reassures you that these strips are working accurately with your meter. If it does not fall in between the reference range, then we'd advise you to do a second check. If it fails for the second time, we'd ask you to return to the pharmacy and they will replace them with another batch of strips. It's important to emphasize that you only do this procedure when you get a new box of strips for the first time. We are now going to do your blood sugar. So the pen, we need to open the pen. So you twist to unlock it and you pull it apart. You insert one of the needles. You twist the head around and remove. Apply the cap and lock it back into place. There is 5 numbers on the top of your pen, and this is how deep the needle will prick your finger. We recommend you leave it a number 2 or number 3. You pull back the lancet device and then you will choose a finger. It's best to avoid these fingers because these are the fingers we use every day to pick things up. It's better to use these fingers. Again, it's better to use the side of the finger. The front of the finger is much more painful, so the side is less painful. So again, we remove a strip from our container. We insert the grey end into the meter to turn the meter on. We take our pen device, we hold it against our finger and we press the button. We then squeeze out a droplet of blood, and then you pick up the meter and insert the end of the strip into the blood. You will then get a result on the screen of 6.8. We would then ask you to record your results in your home blood sugar diary. So we would like you to date down the side of the page, and then each day will go across the page. Where the dots are in the page is where we would like you to monitor your sugars. So for example, today we should have done it before our breakfast, 1.5 hours after the breakfast was finished. This evening we would like you to do it before your evening meal, 1 to 1.5 hours after the evening meal is finished. Tomorrow we would like you to do it just before your lunch, 1 to 1.5 hours after your lunch is finished, and before you go to bed tomorrow night. And then the next day is a repeat of today. It's before and after breakfast, before and after evening meal. So every second day is the same pattern. When you test it before a meal, it means just before you eat the meal, and when you test it after the meal, it's 1 to 1.5 hours after the meal has finished. Your target, so before your meals, the target is to try and keep your blood sugars between 4 and 5.5. After your meals, the target is to try and keep your blood sugars under 7.5. At any time your blood sugar is higher than 7.5, we would ask you to keep a food diary and tell us what you've been eating. Because there will be occasions where you have a birthday or you have a family event, so it's important to identify that, so whenever you come to clinic, we can discuss the results in more detail. It's very important that when you come to clinic that you remember to bring your blood sugar diary and your meter. So we will then remove the strip from the meter, and that will turn your meter off. To remove the needle, again you unlock the pen, take it apart, you pull out the needle, you press down on the cap, and you can put these into a sealed container and then put them into the bin. The meter is run by battery. Again, if you did need to replace the battery, you will have our contact number on the front of your diary. The meter also has a memory and it stores 800 results. So if you want to access the memory, you hold your finger on the button and that will turn the meter on. You let it do its checks and then you press the button one more time and you will be able to see your previous result, and it is dated and timed. Once you accumulate more than one result, you can use the up and down arrows and that will take you into the history. You then hold your finger on the button and that will turn the meter off.